Yeah, so yesterday we had a chance to look at string indexing and slicing and string concatenation. So we'll be continuing with some more functionality that we can do on the strings. But before that, yesterday I promised you uh, I'll show you how we can use Git to share to share the code. So I'm just going to where's my yeah. It's gonna open GitHub. Cool. I'll send this link through. So looking at this project here, right? So it shows that sorry. Stop share. Hey, I shouldn't have done that. There. No. Can you guys? No, I don't know what's wrong with this. I'll share my screen. Yeah, I stopped sharing by mistake. You can see my screen now, right? Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So you can see that this code here, it shows that 3 days ago the code I made changes to files in this so this is called repository. So this is where you can have like whatever files you want on GitHub. You actually don't need an account now for me to share the code with you. But for you to be able to store your own code there, you need an account. So we'll do that at a later stage. But for now, so yeah, this is I have this repo, so repository, which is public online, so anyone can see it. So I'm just going to share this in our Slack channel. I'm gonna share the repo here. Over add channel. I'm gonna share the repo there so that you guys can be able to see to find it. So now looking at this is the folder that I'm working in here is actually the same project that is here, but I just need to, because I made changes since the last time I pushed the changes up to update the code that's online. So I've made changes here. Looking at the colors here, the green, the ones that are green are actually files that I've changed since the last time I received the files from the online repo. Looking at this one, this gitignore license and readme are the initial files that are here. So that's why these three are not green and the rest are green. So for me to be able to push push them up, I'm going to go git add. So I'm adding them to my git. So git manages your files. So so you can track changes made to your files, and then you can also track who made those changes and stuff like that as you're sharing code or sharing files across teams, right? So I'm just saying, by me saying git add and a dot, I'm saying add all the files that have changed now, right? So I'm adding those files by just going git add. And then I need to commit the changes. I need to be sure that, okay, the changes that I've made is actually things that I want to push up. So I will say git commit, and then I need to say -m. So -m is the message that I want to tie the changes to, right? So like if you look here, we did an introduction and we did numbers and we also did strings, right? So I can just go intro, intro, numbers and strings, right? So that's the message that I want to store with the changes that I'm making right now. So after that, you see, they change. Now they're no longer green. But these changes are, so it shows me create mode. Then it created these files over here, right? But for me to be able to see the changes online, if I go online, these changes are not there. It's still changes from 3 days ago. So for me to be able to see those changes online, I can go git push. I'm pushing them up. So to pull them down, you when you have changes up, let's say I made the changes, right? And then I push them up. So if you guys are working in the same project, you have to pull them down to your machine. So I pushed the code up. Now I'm just gonna refresh this page over here. Now you see uh, the code that I had on my machine. You see that, and the message that I had here saying intro, numbers, and strings, right? Which is the message that I wrote when I committed my changes, as you can see there. So what I need from you guys, so you can clone the code that I have on in my repo. So you can go onto the link that I posted it on Slack, copy. So you'll see the green button there that says clone or download. So you can clone it, and then by cloning it, I'll so when you click on that, it copies the URL that you need to clone. So I'm going to let's close this, create a new folder here. I'm going to call it test, and then I'm going to open this in VS Code, right? I just so that I can show you what's going on. I'm going to toggle my terminal, and then so for me, I got the link to cloning the code on GitHub. So what I can do, I can go git clone, and then paste that URL that I just copied from there, and this will copy a new folder on my machine under that the name of the project. And then if I go under there, you can see the same files that I have in my project here, and it's the same files that I have on GitHub. So on your side, to get the change, so I'll push changes every night after our session. So yeah, you guys can just pull them down. So you will go, so if I go git pull, and then it tells me already up to date, right? Because there aren't any new changes that I have made to the project. But for you guys, once after today, because now you'll be cloning the project for the first time. So after today, you should be able to see to pull the project, pull the code down after I make changes to it. Comprende?
Word.
All right. Safe. So yeah. So I will continue. You can see things clearly on my screen, right?
Your bow.
Cool. So I just want us to continue looking at strings. So I'm going to create another file here, call it methods, and then I'll just explain what that is, right? So all data types in Python have some kind of methods that you can run on them. So like your string, maybe maybe you want to do to change your string from being whatever it is and turning it to an uppercase. There's actually special methods that you can use. So I'll just go create a variable called name, and then I'll give it the value Mike, right? So if I go name dot, so VS Code shows me methods. So these things are called methods, right? I'll explain what that is now. So it shows me a bunch of things that are attached to my variable name, right? Which is of type string. I'm just going to call this another number here, another variable, call it number, and give it the value 100, right? I'm going to go, then you can see there's methods also there, but these methods are different to the ones that we had on name, because this is a name, this is a string, and this is a number. So I'll just show you a quick one that we can use now. So if I go name.upper, so let's just see what that does. I'm just going to nope. So you see what happened there? I printed name.upper, and it's telling me this is a built-in method upper of string object, right? So one thing that we should understand is that all data types are objects, right? They're just different kinds of objects. So your number, you have depending on what it is, it'll be an int object, or it'll be a float object, right? And then your string is a string object, your list object, and your dictionary object. So all of them are objects. So yeah, that's one thing that we need to understand. So that's what when you see something being referred to as an object, that is normal. All data types are objects in Python. So we've seen the print function, right? And we understand what the print function does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the difference. So I'm calling this guy a method, but I'm calling print a function, because the main difference between a function and a method is that a method is a function that is attached to an object. You get that? So when you have a function that is attached to an object, that is called a method, right? A method is a function that is attached to an object. So, but when you have a freestanding function like print, that's just a function. So it's not a method, but a method is a function that is attached to an object. So you have methods on strings, you have methods on numbers. So, and you know how we treat functions, right? So in order to get the desired result, we need to call the function. So I can call the function by wrapping that with my parentheses there, and then if I run it again, you see the result there is Mike in uppercase. So I can actually let me do this. Show you one other thing. There's a name. What do you guys expect from these two results? The results of these two, like when I print name.upper and when I just print name. What do you guys expect the results to be?
I would lie. I would lie, level. I just know when you print name, it will bring out Mike. But when you start to add the method, I'm completely lost. I can't read.
I think upper is gonna make it all capitals.
Yeah.
And then the print name doesn't. It's just gonna print Mike. That's what I anticipate.
The same Mike as the one at the top. Yeah. So yeah, you have Mike in caps and you have Mike in as we had it before. So this ties back to the fact that we spoke about our strings being immutable, right? And so methods on our string do not mutate the string. So, but there are some methods when we start looking at lists that will change the original structure of the list. So you'll run that method on the list, and after you check the result, your list, it would have changed. So I think we'll have enough time to look at those methods today. So yeah, so there's also two different types of functions. So there's functions that return something to you, and there's functions that don't. So like if I can actually go name upper equals to name.upper, and then I can print that. So nope. That. So what this does, it runs the upper method, right, on your name, and then it gives you back the value of that result. So it changes all the characters into uppercase, and then it returns something to you, meaning you can actually assign the return value of this function to another variable if you want, just like we printed it there. So my name underscore upper would actually be the same as when we just printed name dot upper. So that's an example of a method or function that returns something to you, right? To you as the user. But there are methods that do not return anything. I think print does not return anything, right? So let's see if I go print result and right, and then I just go print. Let's see what we get from this one. I think it should give you. You see that? You see what it gave you there? It gave you none, meaning that means it did not return anything for you. So there's nothing there. So you're not getting anything from assigning the value of print to print result. So these two methods these two functions are different in that way. This one here returns something to you after it has gone executed whatever it needs underneath, and then this one does not give you anything. So it gives you a none, as you can see there. So I just want to clarify that. So we'll get to understand why this is the case when we start building our own functions. I'm not sure if you need me to clarify anything at this point. You good?
I think we're fine for now.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so we also have the opposite of upper, which would be I'm just gonna print that as well. Then you have, you see that mic being lower. You get that, and then yeah. So I'll just show you one other method that will be useful in the future. I think I actually might just give you some exercises to go through today, just to solidify what we are doing today, what we're doing here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna call this word. So let's call these words. Right. So we have this words variable assigned to some words from the future, right? So let's say you wanted to get all the words in words, right? So meaning you wanted to get some words from the future. So there's actually a method that helps you do that, which is called the split method, meaning you split contents of your string by something that you want to use. So I can go, I'm just going to print it out to the screen so that you can see it as well. So words dot, it's a method, right? A method on our string, and then I can call it like that. And then the results of that is, do you see that? What is this?
Collection of strings.
Yeah, it is a collection of strings, yes, but what kind of collection is it?
A list.
Yeah. So that's a list. So when you say I want to split this thing and you do not tell it how you want to split it, it will by default it splits it by the spaces, right? So it'll split it by the spaces, so you'll get each and every individual word in there. So let's say I have a comma separated values, right? And then I have 1, 2 that, right? So let's say I want to split CSV. If I split CSV like that, I'm just going to clear this here. That was not split. You see that? It wasn't split because we don't have any spaces in our string. But we also want to actually separate the entries of CSV by a comma. So what you do is you feed it a string and then you pass it the separator, the separator that you want to use. You're telling it I want to use a comma to separate the values in CSV, right? And then if I run it now, I get a list with numbers 1 to 7, right? You see that? So maybe what if I wanted to split it by 4, I can do that. So now you should so you get 1, 2, 3, comma, and then you get 4. You get 5, 6, 7. So 4 is not there because that is the character that I used to split my string. If that makes sense. Cool. So yeah, I guess this will be a good way to a good place to stop on methods. But before we move away from strings and move to lists, I think we should look at string formatting. If you guys don't have any questions.
I have a question.
Ooh, that was loud.
Sorry.
Yeah, what's up?
Wait. Where's the presentation? I don't know. Okay. Stop. So you see there, you split it with 4, ne?
Yeah.
Then when you go there at the bottom,
Where?
that is after where you
just say the
printed
line.
out
Just say the line. So use the line.
No, where you printed out the code.
Here. The
in
terminal.
Python.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it did, isn't it divided into strings? So it divided into 2 strings,
Yeah.
which is the one that has at least 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Then that comma, was it always there?
Which
is?
It's here, right? You have that comma there.
No. I was looking at the comma after the code.
Oh no, but that's the comma in the list, right? Your different
That
entries in your list. Just like here, you have your commas there. So
yeah, I was beginning to see so many commas, so now I was wondering. Okay, no, it's fine.
Okay. Okay, cool. Where is, I think I'm gonna use, nope, variables. I'm just gonna copy this code that we had from yesterday, the one we used with our numbers. I'm just gonna copy it in here so that we can use it. So I'll actually use just one. Yeah. So sometimes we want to, let's say I want to print something useful to the screen, right? That yeah, like let's say you see I have my salary, my tax rate, and my net salary there. Let's say I wanted to inform someone in English what their net salary is, right? Using the variables provided there. How would you guys do that with what you have learned so far?
Wait, repeat the question, Lev.
So I want to print out to the screen, right? Like, yeah, you, Jack. So Jack, your salary is 100, right? After tax deduction, your net salary is this, right? How would you do that with the knowledge that you have gathered so far?
Let me see. I think I'll do a variable.
Okay. What should I
and
call
then
it?
say it waiting. Wait, just say wait, yeah. It's fine.
Okay. Wait.
Then I'll put those words that says maybe your salary is, let's say, then it's
So
gonna be, if it's going to be Jack, your salary is this much, then I'll put comma, your salary. I'll do a string. What is it?
string, yeah. So
Yes,
you
your
so only
salary
say
is
Jack, your salary
is
is
yes, then leave it there.
okay.
Right. I would actually maybe the Jack, I can even do it as a variable and a string on its own so that it can change all the time. Maybe I can have one for Jack
Like
and
name, Jack,
Jack is
and then use okay, and then how am I gonna use the name? Yeah.
here you delete it. No, that is fine. That is fine. Then I'll do go to the next line.
Okay.
So the next line I can do that. You call it what? When you add these things. So I can do
Concatenation.
concatenation. So I can concatenate Jack, salary, and then
Okay, so you want me to, what should I call the variable?
maybe call it full weight, full apostrophe, yeah, underscore weight, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you say name plus words plus my salary.
Words plus my salary. Okay.
Yeah. Then you can print full word.
Okay, let's see that.
You have to print first.
Oh. Let's see if that works. Is the watermark? This is boom. You see that?
What happens?
Type error can only concatenate string, not int to string, right? So you cannot. You can only concatenate strings, right, together. You can't concatenate a string with a number, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, that's so the best way to you're actually not that far off, right? You're missing something, but remember yesterday when I showed you the str? Remember, I didn't actually tell you what it does, but I'll show you what it does now. So an SCR would take a data type, right? And then it converts that data type to a string. So here I'm taking my number as input, and then I'm converting it to a string using my SCR function, right? So this should now work for you, Jack. So I can just have a space there, then print it out. Say, Jack, your salary is 100, right? You see that?
Okay.
Yeah. So you can't concatenate a number and a string. So you have to convert the number into a string before you can do that. But there's actually a simpler way to do that, or a nicer way rather. Maybe, I don't know. You'll decide for yourself if you think it's better or not. So I will try and get the same result as your one. So we'll use our Kelly braces. And then here I'll have your salary is, and then here I'll have that. So I'm leaving empty spaces there, right? For your, what's this? Yeah, spaces that I want to replace somehow, right? So if I just print that right now, boom, you should see them as that, which is fine. But I can actually replace these Kelly braces that I have here using the dot format method on the dot format method on your string. So I can say, okay, dot format, and then I can give it Jack as the first one, and then I can give it, what's the other one? Salary as the second one, right? So what this is doing is saying, okay, it's going to format this string, replacing these Kelly braces with these things that are here, right? Like name and my salary. So name will go to the first one, and my salary will go to the second one. So let me run that for you, and then you get the same result. See that? So that's how you format your string using some data or some variable that you have from the outside. These don't have to be variables here. I can go Jane. I can go Jane there, right? And that says Jane, your salary is 100. So I don't actually have to use variables there. I can use other things, but this would be useless because I already know what Jane should be. So I might as well just have Jane there. So it makes more sense if I'm using variables with it. There's also another way to do it. Come on, yeah. So I could use numbers in there. So let's say if I did that, what do you guys expect that to be? Any guesses? Look at that. You see that? You're saying 100, your salary is Jack, right? So what this is saying, so these things here you can think of them as the way we were looking at strings yesterday. So in terms of indexing, so this name is at the at the 0th position, meaning when I do that, I'm saying the data you have at the 0th position, that's the one that you replace here, and then there I'm saying the data that you have at the 1st position, that's the one that you can use there. If I want, I could actually just do that, right? And then it would say Jack, your salary is Jack, right? And so there's actually no point of using my salary, having my salary there. But I can still also go 1 and 1, right? 1 and 1. And then you'll have 100, your salary is 100. So here's formatting. Why is this complaining? Whatever. Yeah, you see that? Making sense?
Word.
Cool. So there's actually another way to
Wait, Lev,
okay, yeah.
those things, you see those curly brackets,
Yeah.
could you put them outside of the code, or they
Outside
need
of the
to be
string.
inside the?
They need to be inside the string.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to be inside the string for you to use them like that to format your string. Yeah.
Sharp.
So there's another way. So I can, if I went n equals to name and s equals to salary, I can actually use n there and s there. So meaning it'll take the value of n and then it'll put it there, and it'll take the value of s and put it there. So that way, it makes I think it's clearer that way. So what people normally do, they'll actually give it the same name as the variable. So actually here, I won't call it salary. I'll just call it salary. And then in here, I can use name, and in there, my second one, I can use salary. See that? So that's so that's three ways that you could use. So yeah, so the first one, you just have your curly braces, and then it will decide, okay, I'm going to take these things in order, and it's going to use them in order. Or you can actually use the indexes of where you have your variables. So meaning at the 0th index and the first index, you can put your 0 and your 1 as you need. Or you can actually give them names. So you give it a name in your dot format that you can use inside your string there, inside your curly braces. So, and there's another way, a fourth way, which is I would say is much nicer. So instead of, so I will change those things, remove those things there. So what do you guys think would happen if I did this? Your salary is my salary. What do you guys think would happen if I did that? Huh? Nothing. So I have the string that I have there. It doesn't change anything, but I can actually just have an F there like that. So instead of using the dot format thing, I can just use these are called F strings. So you format your strings in this way, and then that works. So three ways of doing the same thing, right? You concatenated your strings there using your plus notation. You used your a dot format method to pass in the values into your string. So we saw three ways. Maybe I should actually do all three so that you can see them. That one. That one. So this one, the second one, we saw the 0 and 1 should do the same thing. And we saw the named one, and then we saw the F string. Yeah. And then all these things give us the same result. So it's four ways of doing the same thing. But as if we're comparing which one is better, I mean, you wrote less code with this one than the other three, right? So for me, I prefer the F strings. That's what they're called because of this F that you have outside of your code, not inside your code. So you have your F, and then you have your string, and then that's how you format your string. You good?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Let me just confirm something, Lev.
Yeah.
You see, when you asked me to do it, I did
Yeah.
that. Your salary is, I gave it a variable.
Yeah.
You guys always choose variables to be things that we can change. Then the ones that will not, you don't need to change them. You actually try to just write them as strings in the code.
What do you mean?
Oh, you found it better to write your salary is as a normal string instead of doing a variable for that. So I don't believe that would change where you'd need to say your
Oh,
salaries are. Or
I see what you're saying. So variables are good when you are reusing them. So when you are like you see, not having a name as a variable was good because we used name how many times? We used name there, we used name there, we used name there, we used name there. So we are reusing that variable more than once. We're using it more than once, right? So it's good to store it inside a variable. So here I'm just formatting these things and I'm showing you different ways to format it, but I'm actually not going to use it anywhere else, right? So that's how you decide whether to use variables or not. So when you're going to reuse something, you should store that in a variable, and also make sure that your variable makes sense. The name of your variable makes sense.
okay, no, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah. Anyone else? Cool. So I'm going to add this code so that you guys can use it on your side. So I don't think there's going to be enough time today to start with lists. I think we'll start with those on Monday. So, but I'll try to give you some things to do, like just so you can solidify what we've learned this week. And if you have questions, just pop them on Slack, and then I'll answer them. And cool. I think that's it for today.
Level.
Yo. Oh, do you want me to continue presenting?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
The link you get, you see, when you said I should clone, right? The file that you pushed up to Git.
Yes.
So isn't it I copied that link?
Yeah.
Do I need to copy it all the time? Does that link change, or is it the same link that
it's the same link? It's the same link all the time. So you don't have to clone it all the time. You only clone it the first time. So now when you're cloning it, you're going to clone it now, right? But when you want to get the latest changes inside that folder that you clone, you just write git pull, and then it'll pull down the changes. I think we should actually do it now, because I pushed the code up. So I think you should just do it now. When did you clone?
I cloned it before, just when you did it.
Okay. So now in the same directory, just go git pull, and then you see the contents of your folders will change.
Oh, okay. Let me see something. So there's a bit of an. See, this thing of folders is giving me problems.
Share your screen.
Okay. Oh. When you stopped sharing, my whole browser went black. And now I have a call. Can I call you maybe tomorrow? We can do it tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
So I have to take this other call. Thanks, man.
Sure.